Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast, covering all things Ipswich Town since 2015. My name is Mikey Smith, and this is the live Q&A show. And joining me for this are the Rushmere Rascals, David Diamond and Joe Sayers. How are you both?
Good, thanks, Mikey.
Yeah, all good, thanks, Mikey. Pretty good, yeah.
And for those listening in, talk us through your shirt tonight, Joe.
It is a New Zealand 2010 World Cup shirt in honour of Tommy Smith, the penultimate Ipswich player to appear in a World Cup finals game.
Lovely stuff.
That is a very nice shirt, I've got to say. Did you actually witness Tommy in action last night, Joe, or not?
No, he was on the bench. So I did see him warming up in front of me. They were down there in a Colchester 2, Leyton Orient 2.
Yeah, got a real kick in the nads when at last minute. It was a very late goal, 90.
Very late, yeah. 90.
Saw a Miles Kenlock goal there, didn't you, Joe?
Yeah. I only saw him score once for Ipswich in a pre-season friendly at Barnet, so I've seen as many Colchester goals as Ipswich. I don't think he ever scored for the first team, and he scored a goal, but it was him that gave away a late free kick for the goal as well. So
did I not remember him scoring? I wasn't there at Burton.
I think he had a disallowed goal at Burton.
Was it? Okay.
On Good Friday. When we won there and then won at Newcastle.
That was a disallowed. Okay.
Yeah, that was disallowed. So I did see that one though. So
there you go. No, not close, but not quite. No cigar. Yeah.
Lovely. And Dave, Pancake Day yesterday. Know you love your food. I put to our audience, how many pancakes do you think?
Don't. My wife makes these fine savoury pancakes with like a bolognese mix and like a cheese sauce. Oh, don't even start me on them. Yeah, I could have eaten my body weight in those, and I almost did, but I stopped short of that. But yeah, very, very nice too. Yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness me.
Charlie D thought a comfortable 5 pancakes, but they sound pretty heavy, Dave. You can't.
I couldn't manage anymore. I think 2.5 was my max yesterday of those. Blimey, no, I couldn't. No more.
Right, into the football now. We've done Colchester, we've done pancakes, so let's start talking about football. James Ruddock, disappointing week results-wise, which is while seeming we can still S-House 6th place. If we do get 6th, what do you guys reckon about our chances across the 2 games in a playoff situation?
I just think it's going to take such a monumental effort to get 6th that you're probably looking at stuff like 8 wins in our last 11 games. And if we win 8 games and finish 6th, I'd imagine that I don't think anyone would want to face us anyway, because to get into playoffs, we're going to be on a hell of a run. So I'd be confident. I'd be confident now if we went in there, because I just think that we seem to be set up in such a controlled way. It's almost... We almost play playoff football now, isn't it? Rather than the sort of wide open football we played at the start of the season. I think you need that control effectively, and we have that. All these games are tight, mistakes. Like you look at the Milton Keynes game, and that was almost a playoff game, wasn't it? Like the chess match there, and I just don't think we've got that weakness now that we had before.
No, we just rewind a little bit and take a look at last night's League One results. I just put them up here. That covers all of us up. But yeah, a bit of a stinker, wasn't it? Portsmouth beating Oxford, who already look like they're too far ahead of us. Yeah. Portsmouth are now right on our heels. Sheffield Wednesday. Burton came from 2-0 down to get to 2-0. Just as I got excited, Sheffield Wednesday ended up scoring 3. Rotherham kept up their ridiculous away record of just never conceding goals. Wigan back on track with a 2-0 win over Fleetwood, and Wickham out of nowhere with a 3-0 result. That leaves the top 10 looking like this. Grim reading now, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, as Joe said, it's going to take a monumental effort. And look, if we do make it from here, then my goodness me, talk about momentum. We'll be flying, won't we, for goodness sake? 8 wins, at least 8 wins from those 11 games. But you got to say it's looking unlikely. Those teams above us. Joe picked Sheffield Wednesday a couple of weeks ago when I was last on the pod with him, and he's right. They're pretty much flying at the moment, aren't they? Okay, Oxford, but then, Oxford you think are fairly entrenched in there already. And again, the one who's coming up on the rails again is bloody Pompey, isn't it? I mean, huge goal, but I mean, okay, fingers crossed we get. It seems to be deja vu. We get 6 points out of the next 2 games. That sets up. I mean, if Portsmouth keep up their form, that sets up a big old game Saturday week, doesn't it? Massive game Saturday week. They'll always bring their full complement. That should be flipping excellent. But they're what 2 points behind us with 2 games in hand. They're sort of running into form at a worryingly bad time for us. So yeah, it's going to take a huge effort. It really is. But look, as I've seen reading on social media all day on the forums and stuff. It's still possible. It's still there. And yeah, if we make it from here, yeah, as Joe said, no one would want to play us. Flipping it, no way.
Just as you were chatting there, Dave, Joe was swigging away. James Ruddock spotted the Blue Monday beer cooler. Hold that up. Look at that.
There it is. Yeah, I've got mine in a drawer somewhere. Yeah.
Piece of Blue Monday history.
Look at that. Memorabilia.
Back when you were just a fan, hey, Joe?
Yeah, I used to buy these and sort of have all my drinks in them.
Right. Michael Warner, he's joined us. Good morning, all, from a very wet Brisbane. Yeah, it's been.
I think we can relate.
The last
I think we can relate.
Yeah, I'm not going to have too much sympathy when I look out my window at the weather here tonight.
Definitely not. Chris Rand, evening, Chris. With 11 games left, we're likely to need to score 20 goals to challenge for the playoffs. One striker coming good with 6 or 7 goals just isn't enough. 2 or 3 players need to start scoring, don't they?
Yep. Yes.
I think we've
Simple
got.
Answer to that.
If you look, Wes Burns is scoring, and Connor Chaplin is scoring, aren't they? I think Burst and Selena looks like he's probably got a few goals in him between now and the end of the season. But yeah, you need a strike. You need a couple of your strikers to get maybe 12 goals between them, don't you? And they're all capable of it, but it's just they all just look out of form, don't they? I wonder now because we've had a lot of midweek games up until now, haven't we? It's been quite a sort of heavy schedule now. But when you look at it now, we've obviously got Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, and then after that, really, there's no more midweek games. You've got the Easter period where you've got the Friday, Monday games, but it's really just after the Lincoln game, it's just a Saturday running now. So whether McKenna will look to sort of settle on a sort of a front three or
where does he go,
settle on players there. Yeah, I think
could you pick Saturday's front? I mean, okay, would you have any idea what the front two's likely to be Saturday? I still would like to see. Surely he's got to come good. I'd quite like to see a front two of Piggott and Chaplin. I'm not sure. I might have put this forward in the pod a couple of weeks ago, but I'm not sure that's been tried yet this season, or has it? I can't recall it being tried this season.
No, I can't recall it, but I'd probably go because it's sort of one player goes on the wide. I'd probably go Jackson on the left, and then. Well, I don't know who in the middle and Selena sort of nominally on the right. I think that'd be my 3, but
probably, yeah. I mean, I didn't really see much. I didn't see any of it. Obviously, saw the highlights Saturday. I'm not, we just really wasn't effective at all, was it? Saturday, not at all. And obviously, Bon is clearly a big, massive loss of confidence there because those chances he missed Saturday, he was absolutely gobbling them up, wasn't he? Start of the season, goodness me.
Do you just hang your hat on on Bon now though, because he's
that's what I mean.
The centre forward that's done it with most regularity. Do we just play him or maybe just give him the next 3 games, try and work his way back into form, because it can happen.
I think with one of the strikers, he's got a stick, hasn't he? I think you're right. He's got a stick, and maybe you're right, Bon, and if he doesn't score, just stick with him and hopes it all comes back.
Yeah, some people need a bit different, don't they? Maybe needs an arm around the shoulder and say, look, you're starting the next 3 games, so don't worry about scoring this Saturday. Because it's almost like, I don't know, it looks like the weight of the world on his shoulders and the way he reacts to missing the chances as well.
Indeed. A lot of people now, their attentions are starting to turn to next season. Charlie D says, as much as McKenna would love the playoffs, he must be starting to focus and plan for the summer. What does he do? New contracts for anyone? Rip it up and start a game with new strikers?
Possibly, probably. I wonder how it goes. Like I say, they've all got an opportunity over the next few weeks, haven't they? That if any of them can grab 4 or 5 goals, Jackson, Norwood, they've got a chance of earning a new deal here. Joe Piggott's the funny one because he seems probably the furthest behind out of all the strikers. He probably seems 4th choice if you were doing it, and he's the one who's got another 2 years left on his deal. So and I don't really see that we're going to be able to shift that deal on anywhere else. So you just got to hope you stumble across something almost now. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Caden Jackson scores a few goals and ends up getting a new contract. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But we'll see, really. But that is the area of the team when you look at when you look at the rest of the squad, and not just sort of the players who are playing well, but also their contract situation. So let's say you look at the back three, Donatian's still got another year, Wolfie's got another year, Edmondson's got another 3 years, Burns has got a couple of years, Vincent Young's got another year behind him at right back. Left back is probably the other area, but in midfield, Morsy's got 3 years, Evans has got 3 years, Elmazuni's got another year.
It's all quite settled, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very settled in almost every role apart from left back and centre forward, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you a little bit surprised, Dave, that Norwood's goals have dried up?
I guess so.
Or is it because he's come out of the team and then Jackson
I think so. Maybe it is. You know, he's come out of the team. Well, he was 4 in 4, wasn't he? And I say flying, but he was goal a game, 4 in 4, and some important goals as well. You know, the goal at Wigan, the winner. The winner at home to Wickham. You know, there's some big goals amongst them, and yeah, again. Well, you wouldn't say Norwood is never appears to be short of confidence. I mean, I see Norwood and I look at Bon. I see Norwood miss a chance, and you see Norwood miss some horrible chances, and it's almost, you know, you never see him with that negative reaction after that. So it can't help, Mikey. I think, you know, it can't help that again. Four games on the trot, 4 goals. Didn't score for a game or so, or you know, substituted quite early. I think fairly early in at least one of those games. Yeah, there's just he's got no continuity, has he?
And also, when he played Saturday, he was very much a sort of left-hand side. I know he played that role against Wickham and scored and works hard and does that, but it's not really his game. Is it getting up and down?
He's got to play between the lines, between the box. Yeah.
Right, into the next question. Mark Abbott, horrible feeling, another draw coming our way at Fleetwood. Only just beat them at home and they were decent. They were decent that day. That was when Selena scored in injury time. But after that, I could see us getting 3 or 4 wins with 3 of those games at home.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't disagree with that.
You just got, like I say, I think we're going to need 8 wins out of the last 11 to make the playoffs. So if you don't win on Saturday, then it's 8 wins out of 10, isn't it? And
we are done. I mean, you know, with
sneakers, aren't you?
Saturday's game, score an early goal, complete. You know, if we get on the ball like we did, you know, last Saturday at Morecambe, we score an early goal, completely different game. You know, especially if it goes to one of the strikers as well. You're probably going to think if we dominate as we did against Morecambe, maybe 2 or 3. But yeah, we just need to score first and early, and you know, early on to capitalise on that dominance, don't we?
For me at this stage, and to be fair, my stance hasn't changed since McKenna's come in. It hasn't been we must make the playoffs or it's a big disappointment. It's more I'd like to go to some games near the end of the season that actually have something riding on them.
Yeah.
You'd like to get to the 1st of April.
We all do, don't we? It's a feeling that we've missed, isn't it? Like going into East. I mean, we've battled relegation a couple of times, I suppose, but it's been a long 7 years, hasn't it, since we last went to a game in April where we had a sniff of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you've got some big games coming up near the end of the season, haven't you? You've got Wigan coming up. You know, it'd be nice to go into that for us as a must-win game. You know, it'd be brilliant. You know, superb.
Plymouth as well.
Plymouth you got coming up there towards the end of March. But yeah, I mean the game. Hopefully, you know, if we take maximum points in the next 2 games, and obviously Portsmouth continue their run. Like I said, really, really nice game coming up Saturday week, isn't it? Flipping it, brilliant.
Yeah. All set up for that one.
Yeah.
Alex SP 228. It's very frustrating. McKenna shows some great promise though. Could be in for a great run next season. Yeah, we've got reasons for genuine enthusiasm. I think that there's going to be some good feeling going into next season. Whatever happens between now and May.
And no doubt, as you say, there'll be some additions. The squad will be tweaked again. You know, hopefully we'll hang on to, you know, the likes of Wolfenden and Edmondson and Burns and, you know, and players like that. Whether Selena will be around next season, who knows? I guess if we're still in League One, I guess unlikely, but you know, who knows? But yeah, certainly cause for more optimism than well, let's face it, we're fairly optimistic going into this season, weren't we? But I think I've certainly liked the look of him so far, and you know, he's just the way he conducts himself and how he, you know, speaks and everything. It's just he's a real I think a real find for us.
And you just feel like you just trust the manager and trust his decision making at the moment, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. And everything he's come in, and he's done since he's come in. He's explained why he's done it. He's gone through it, and he's been sort of true to his word when he came in. Effectively, when Cook came in and he was saying the squad was unmanageable and too big, we ended up with the same size squad this season, and it was unmanageable. McKenna's come in and said the squad was too big, and in January we sort of quietly sort of lost 5 or 6 senior players and only bought sort of 1 or 2 in, and the squad is now a much more manageable side. It's like he's just very quietly going about his business, and I think some of the football we played in the last 2 games, I know it's been frustrating because we haven't got the goals, but it's been some of the best football I've seen. Probably the most dominant football since probably that sort of pre-Christmas period of 2014 when we got in the playoffs and we were just sort of running over teams at home, not in a sort of the same sort of passing way, but how you're just watching teams, and like I say, at home against Cheltenham last week, we just didn't let them breathe, did we? They just were absolutely breathless. We were all over them, and the best they could hope for was one of the sort of midfielders hooking a second ball just forward to no one. That was as good as they got really in that first half, and they improved after the break, but I'd say we were better than that at Morecambe on Saturday.
I know that obviously the season has gone on now, but the fitness levels just look so much higher, don't they? Absolutely, so much better. So yeah.
But for all the things that McKenna's got right, though, one thing he definitely hasn't quite cracked yet are the set pieces. I feel the defenders need to start scoring a few, but with our set pieces, no chance. Says Michael.
Not being fun, exactly. Yeah, if the delivery's crap, then they're not going to have a chance, are they? I mean, it's just a shame because I think Evans had and his weren't brilliant at the start of the season, but I think since Christmas when he has played, his set plays have been a lot better. So his free kick, but I think all of them have been a lot better. So again, just a shame. But you're not telling me someone just cannot just pick someone out, with delivery with pace, not hanging them up or anything.
Yeah, I'm
just frustrates the hell out.
Not sure whether Seb was trolling you or not on the Flagship show the other day, Dave, when he said that we've been spoiled over the years with the likes of Martin Waghorn taking corner kicks.
It's just one game. It was one game, and Ben's fault. One game, I called him out for it, and and he was terrible. He didn't miss the first defender until he knocked it across for Chambers to score. But it is incredibly frustrating. It really is.
Yeah, Mark Abbott says it's ironic that our attacking patterns win us so many corners and we're so bad at them.
Oh, God.
He's quite right, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just a little change of pace here, change of subjects. FA Cup is obviously going on at the moment. I think Luton are 1-0 up against Chelsea last time I checked. But in bigger news, in the Women's FA Cup, on Tuesday morning, I think some of us tuned in for the BBC Morning Live or something or other, and got
Mr. Motivator.
Mr. Motivator was on. I think, the Women's FA Cup draw seems to be put back about half an hour as they're trying to cling on to the women's football fan viewers. But this is how the draw turned out. We avoided the toughest draws, which were probably, as you see at the top there, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City away. So there's a good chance that if we do get through, we will be playing one of those 3 by the looks of it. And Ipswich host West Ham. They're mid-table in the Women's Super League, so playing at the top standard in English football. So a fantastic draw for Ipswich women. But dare we say, at home, they're
#winnable.
#winnable. They're not a superstar team, West Ham. And what sort of crowd are we expecting at the Gold Star, Dave?
Well, I don't know. I think it was just about 1,170 there on Sunday. I was there on Sunday, and it was. You could still walk around the pitch, but it was pretty full. So I would have thought, I can't surely hold more than, unless they do something to it. I can't, or I don't see how. But I wouldn't have thought it can hold much more than 2,000. But I mean, Sunday was just brilliant atmosphere, and I was with Rich and Matt. Just behind the goal with all the other than the goalkeeper scoring at the other end of the pit. That was incredible. I mean, the extra time, the second half of extra time in that game was just amazing, and just what an absolute brilliant achievement. But I'd have thought maximum 2,000 from where I was on Sunday and judging the ground and the crowd on Sunday. I'd have thought about 2,000.
Lovely stuff. And Joe, this would be great exposure for for the Ipswich women's team as well, because this surely will be televised, won't it?
I guess it's likely that it's going to be televised. I think it's probably the tie of the round almost. I know.
Incredible.
Listen to what they were saying. It's sort of Man City, Chelsea, and Arsenal were the three big hitters that.
Yeah.
If you'd have played them, you've just got zero chance against. They're just streets ahead of everyone. And then I think it was West Ham and Everton who was sort of in that middle bit, and then sort of Coventry or Birmingham, because Coventry are bottom of the second tier. So if you'd have got those, that you might have had the best chance against them, and then Birmingham are sort of in that second tier, and just Everton and West Ham. But there is going to be a big difference in sort of standards. They're full-time professional teams, those are. I know some of our girls are professional now, but they're not training 5 days a week. They're professional alongside other commitments. So it's going to be a big ask. But when you look at the sort of the under-21s team, they have an under-21s team in the Premier League, effectively. And you look at the results there, I can't say I follow the table that closely, but it's like, oh, they've beaten Liverpool this week. They've drawn with Everton. And they play all the teams in that sort of Women's Super League. So I don't know. I say you got a chance at home. The pitch isn't going to do West Ham any favours. It's a bit lively, the pitch down there, isn't it? And it's going to be hopefully a bit of a leveller. And if they can get a result, it'd just be incredible.
Yeah, there's a wind blowing down. There's Felix Stone. It was a wind blowing down the pitch as well. It will be hell of a level. I mean, what was impressive about Sunday? It's probably, and I doubt Richard covered this on the Flagship show, but unlike Chelsea, we made two substitutions just at the last knock-ins of extra time, and these two go. Lucy O'Brien, one who I know we sponsor, and I think Izzy Brown, I think, and the other go that came on, and so they took penalties 1 and 2. Unbelievable. Their first touches in the game, they took penalties 1 and 2 and absolutely dispatched them in the corner. Unbelievable stuff. But our 4 penalties were just exemplary, brilliant penalties.
Well, I was listening to Joe Sheehan on another pod, Kings of Anglia probably, and he basically said that Lucy O'Brien knew that she was going to be coming on just to take a penalty, but they hadn't told Izzy Bryant that she would be doing that. Because they said they wouldn't have been best for her mentality. So they said she'd been taking penalties best in training all week, and it was not until the last minute of extra time she knew she was coming on to take one effectively. So interesting. That's a really interesting pod with regards to his management style.
Yeah, he comes over again. He comes over really well, doesn't he? But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, brilliant for them. Last time, question out there. Last time, first team, the lads were in the cup quarter final. Anybody?
93 was it?
Yeah, I think Arsenal won it 4-2.
Yeah, I remember that game.
I remember Wright. Weren't they running all over the top of the executive boxes? Weren't they? I believe.
Ian Wright was always good for a goal at that time against us, wasn't he?
He loved.
He liked playing Ipswich. Yeah,
I think it's his best goals to games ratio is against Ipswich. Loved it.
There were a few hat tricks in there. I remember as well. Yeah.
Right, Paul Strutt. Any of the Blue Monday squad attend the Ipswich Legends event at the Corn Exchange last night? Butcher and Holland were excellent. Yeah, I think that one sort of slipped us by, didn't it?
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear some of Paul's thoughts. One of my friends texted me. I'd been to the Colts game last night. He texted me saying, "Oh, I went to that." And Holland, he said, Matt Holland was just so infused by Kieran McKenna, couldn't speak highly enough of him, and was just sort of gushing in his praise of him, talking about, and this is something I've heard as well about sort of how they have drones over the training sessions and sort of picking up the patterns of play and
shapes,
going through that. But I've heard on top of that as well, it's the analysts are looking at the drones and they don't have to go through McKenna. It's like if he's basically said to them, if you see something that you think is wrong, you pull the player in, you have a meeting with them. You don't need to run it by me. So he's not only sort of treating the sort of players with extra maturity, he's treating the staff, empowering them to just say, look, if you think this is what it is not right, go and sort it. It's not I don't have to have my fingerprints on everything. You know what I want, and if they're not doing it, get it sorted. So I'd be interested to hear if Paul has any other comments on that, because like I say, I've just heard a lot about Holland's gushing praise of McKenna.
Interesting. Yeah,
he's very much on board, isn't he? Nick Muller says, "Hi all, hi Nick. Need to score first and follow up, not hold back like we normally do." I mean, we were unlucky not to do that against Cheltenham and Morecambe, weren't we? But how important, now that we've got a decent defence in place, how important is that first goal in a game? It's the old cliche, isn't it? Oh, if we score early, that'll be good. It didn't suit us at the start of the season, but now perhaps it would.
Yeah, No, it would, as I said earlier, definitely.
And I know a lot of goals do come from errors, but we've only conceded 5 in 12 games under McKenna, and
Ridiculous.
one was like Edmondson giving a nothing back pass against Bolton.
Bolton, yeah.
Another Edmondson sort of giving the ball away on the touchline. Thompson overplaying in the back there, and sort of that's 60% of the goals we conceded since Christmas, effectively. 3 little silly mistakes.
Crazy.
Avon, first job wins 3 league games in a row. Unless we do that now, no chance to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're not going to win 8 out of 11 without winning 3 in a row, are you?
No, you're not.
Well, you could do, I guess. You could win 2, draw, win 2. You get to 8 that way.
It helps.
I'm getting dizzy.
Yeah, I can't take that in. Doesn't sound right, but you're probably right, Joe.
Mark Abbott, whatever happens from here, really impressed McKenna. Really excited about next season transfer window and pre-season. I think we all are.
Yeah.
Charlie D echoes that. Incredible, really, how different the same set of players look under McKenna.
It makes you wonder as well if
impressive.
I doubt we'd have been able to do it, but it had McKenna came in when sort of this time a year ago when Cook came in. What would he have done with last year's squad with regards to push him onto playoffs? What would he have done with the summer's business? Obviously, we'll never know from there, but I don't think he'd have made a sort of as big a fist of it as happened in the end.
And look, the players are clearly the coaching is streets ahead of what it was, isn't it? Clearly, and that's reflected in the team on the pitch, isn't it?
I mean, you can just see it, can't you? The discipline, the shape, the covering of each other's runs. As soon as one player goes, everything shifts around, and it's just like a well-oiled machine. And when you look at like Liam Manning at MK Dons, it's like this generation of coaches, and you just look at them and you're just like, their teams are so well coached. They know exactly every player on that pitch knows exactly what he's doing, and there's no one's off freelancing without being sort of given cover to do it. And
is this a difference he's made to certain players? I mean, Donasian just looks just a thoroughbred footballer at the moment, does he? Just incredible. The difference in the guy. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Even just the simple switch. I know it's not happened because he's not been fit at the moment, but just that simple switch of just Morsey and Evans, effectively, rather than having Morsey sit deep chasing the ball around and Evans trying to push on. Evans sitting deep and Morsey pushing on. It's made that midfield look so much better. And like I say, Donasian and Wolfenden, especially at the back, who was on his way out of the club and now looks like an absolute Rolls Royce of a defender in that back three. And I don't know, Caden Jackson as well, some of his performances. And
I mean, I think you're right. Of the two, arguably since in the last 12 games, Wolfenden's been the better player than Edmondson, hasn't he? Clearly.
He has indeed. I'll just pop this one back up again. Gary Haseman says it would be interesting to see what happens with season ticket prices. Have you heard any murmurings either of you? It's still a little bit early, isn't it? We normally hear something is at the end of, will it be the end of March?
Generally, I think.
Yeah, it's normally about then, isn't it? Yeah. Well, like I say, I don't think it will be massively put up because ultimately there's a real feel good factor around the club. The crowds we're getting are incredible. I know it's a part of the pack out PR campaign, but Lincoln, there's something like 26,000 tickets sold for that already, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's just a better
so important that we win at Fleetwood now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's a better product, isn't it? You're going down now, knowing that you're going to be entertained now, and you're going to see good football. All right, we're all gutted. It was 0-0 against Cheltenham, but as Joe said, the first half of that game was probably the best first half I've seen, well, certainly all season. Absolutely superb.
David Bergen, great show as always. Thanks, David, and thanks everyone. Keep getting these questions in. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook and you've been asking questions and I haven't read them out, I haven't seen any from Twitter or Facebook. They may not exist, but just get onto YouTube if you want to get a question in. Michael Warner's trolling you now. I think, Dave, can we sign Waghorn and bring him on for corners and set pieces?
I know. Do you know what?
You'd have him back in a heartbeat, wouldn't you?
I absolutely would. I know it was one game, and I got called out. But it was one game. That's all it was. And then, absolutely. No, obviously you would. Yeah, class player. Yeah.
We've
absolute
had a
class player.
David Bergen has put in £20 into the Blue Monday pot. Thank you very much.
Oh wow,
very generous,
David.
Thank you.
That's excellent, Michael Warner.
And I like his comment as well. League One champions next season. I spoke to a Morecambe fan after the game. He's a guy that runs their Shrimps Online thing that I spoke to before the game.
Yeah.
And he after we played them, he'd messaged Sky Bet to ask for the odds for Ipswich to win the league next season on the back of the performance. So
seriously,
it's not just Ipswich fans that are getting carried away, but Sky Bet weren't offering odds. He just was amazed at how well we played, and obviously we went there and took a sort of late equaliser to only get a point, and that's how his view as a Morecambe fan watching the game.
I meant to look for, and I couldn't find them. I was looking, I think on Monday. It could have been Sunday or Monday. Well, Adam's comments were. Did you see any from him or not? Their manager?
No, I didn't see anything from him.
No,
really.
I just wondered what he sort of made of it. But yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
David's just stuck in another 20 quid. I'm not sure if he's done that on purpose. If he has, it's very, very generous.
That's
Thank
incredibly
you.
generous.
Lovely stuff.
Dave, you better hang up. You better hang up, mate. You'll be skinned. No, don't.
As we're such a modern football club now, Michael Warner says, should we go all Man City and go with no main striker? Chaplin could play through the middle and Luco, Selina as the front three. Do you think we're maybe overcomplicating things if we go down that route in League One?
But I guess when we play, you could play someone like Chaplin centrally with Jackson on the left and Selina on the right, for example. And Chaplin is someone that gets in the box. Selina is someone that will get in the box from the other side as well. So there is a chance that it happens like that. So I wouldn't be mega surprised if something like that happens, but I would be a little bit.
Yeah. Luco's do a goal as well, isn't he? He's another one. I think he hasn't scored since he scored 2 against Cambridge, didn't he? And I think he scored since.
I think he's against Pompey on the Tuesday, but hasn't scored since like October.
Oh, sorry, yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is a long, long way back.
Charlie D is quite high on that idea. Lee Bayliss thinks that we'll already have people lined up for next season.
And I wonder if one of those is already in the building in Tariq Backinson. I wonder if it does feel like his loan is with a view to sort of pick him up at the end of it. What are people's thoughts on that?
I think he's sort of picked up a bit. I wasn't too impressed with him. When I first saw him, but I thought he had a really good game against MK. I thought, Joe, you were there. I thought he played really quite well against MK, and he looked like keeper made that really excellent. That's probably the pick of the saves. Well, he obviously made a good one from Selina. We made a really good save from him first half as well, down to his right. So I think he's gradually becoming more, having more and more an effect on the team, and I'm sort of warming to him after not, his first couple of appearances. I thought, what is the point? And I think we all said, is he that much better than Harper, who's obviously now struggling to get in the crew, was struggling to get in the crew side. So, yeah, I'm sort of warming to him. It'll be interesting to see how he goes the next few games, because I won't be surprised if he starts again on Saturday.
And I think he's had not a tough run, but I think his first 4 starts, it's like one alongside Morsey, one alongside Evans, one alongside Carroll, one alongside El Mazzuni. And it's tough for a young player to come into that and just change a partner every week. If he settles in there, I'd probably say it's probably our best option at the moment, alongside Sam Morsey with Lee Evans out injured. Yeah,
Evans, that looks a bad one as well, doesn't it? I don't think we'll be seeing. I wouldn't have thought we'd see him this next week, would you?
No,
maybe Pompey. That might even be too soon. I don't know.
You just wonder if he's not fit in 4 weeks, if depending on where the season is, do you just
rest him,
for the summer effectively, make sure he gets fit? So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he's coming back in to help.
Yeah, because he was starting to look good. Yeah,
Luton are 2-1 up. Thanks everyone for joining us while this FA Cup Classic is going on BBC One. Jamie Souza, Donacien player of the season. Has he been at fault for anything? Misconsistent. It's changed over the course of the season, hasn't it? But at the moment, I think he's the obvious choice.
It's been a few candidates, because I suppose getting into
Bond for the first few months.
Well, getting into September, you had Bond, then you had Edmondson, who looked absolutely superb. Obviously Burns for his goals, but honestly, Wolfen aside, obviously Wolfen didn't play much at the start of the season, up to perhaps half until McKenna came in. But Donacien has just been as you said, the model of consistency. It's unbelievable. Changing a player, but just it never seems to. If he does get caught out of position, he almost seems to be in a position to. He's got that bit of pace now to retrieve the situation. He has just been excellent.
And I think, sort of just looking at the comments where Michael's just commented about Burns being lucky to have JD behind him, and I think that is true. And I think it's that right hand side is working so well between Burns and Donacien, and it's almost like we're a back four in possession, a back three out of possession, isn't it?
Yeah.
That Burns is a right wing back, but once we've got the ball, he's a right winger, and Thompson drops right back to left back and goes that way. But no, they've got a brilliant partnership there. They obviously get on really well, as you sort of see the
handshake.
sort of photos of them, the little handshakes when they score a goal, and so they're playing brilliantly. And I say, as good as Dinashin's been, I think Wes Burns 10 goals from sort of right midfield, right wing back.
Yeah,
It's hard to look past that, and he's been
an assist. Yeah,
and when you look at the if you were to look at sort of points per game of players, it is, you could almost say that Wes Burns getting injured cost Paul Cook his job, because when Burns was out of the team, we just did not pick up points.
No. Yeah, you're right.
Quite right. Kjell Antonsen. I'm going to guess he's Danish. Apologies if you're Norwegian. Too bad about Morsey. There's no goals in him like Holland, etc.
I think it'll come.
Do you think he's got goals in him, Dave?
I think he has. He's when he looks at, he's
Did Grant
threat,
Williams score many goals?
Grant Williams very.
I think he's the most similar player to Morsey.
I can remember one at Reading. Can't you? A pretty good goal at Reading. I seem to remember him score at the old
the green and maroon kit
at the old Elm Park. I seem to remember. I think Ullenbeck scored a worldie that day. I'm pretty sure. I think he's got goals. I mean, he looks a threat when he goes forward, and he's got that drive into the edge of the box, etc. And he's been a bit unlucky. He should have scored against Burton, shouldn't he? When he tried the ball came across and he tried to put it behind the keeper and it just hit a trailing leg. I mean, okay, perhaps he should have scored, but yeah, I can see there is goals in him. He just, again, like straight, just needs to get a strike in, a P roller or something like that, one off a keeper or something, and off he goes.
The best chance he's had so far, Joe, is probably in the last minute at Gillingham.
Yeah.
Where
he
should
have scored.
Yeah,
and also the last minute against Wickham, where he, rather than shoot, rolls the ball.
He
rolls it. He's definitely getting into positions, and he just doesn't look a particularly sort of clean striker of the ball, though, does he? When he shoots, it's almost like he looks left-footed when he shoots. It's like he's even his right foot looks like a bit of a. What do you think about
the last bit of Kjell's comment? Like Holland, blimey.
Oh really? No, he means there's no goals in him like there was goals in Matt Holland.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine Sam Morsey scoring some of the goals that Matt Holland scored, the sort of outside the box.
No.
Stunners, really.
Can remember one at Sunderland, one at home to Charlton was.
Let's not get into Matt Holland's goals, because we'll be
Everton.
here. We'll be here.
Oh no, Everton! Oh no.
Leicester.
Oh, stop it!
Quite the back catalogue. Without wanting to sound like Rich, please do tune into my interview with Matt Holland on the Blue Monday channel. I don't like to talk about it. Paul Strutt. In response to your question, both Butcher and Holland blown away by McKenna, and the drone being used to record training can be seen in matches.
Yeah,
and I think they were two of the players that were invited down by McKenna to have dinner down at the club, and I think it's I think Lambert had done it, but that, like, when I've spoke to Walker, and he said it was just going down there for a cup of tea. But this was actually getting down there. I don't think it was a PR exercise. It was just to come down and have a chat. But this was actually come down. We're going to have dinner. We're going to sit in a players' lounge for sort of 2 or 3 hours and have a chat about all things Ipswich Town, sort of thing, rather than just that sort of thing. So yeah, he's obviously impressing everyone on and off the pitch, isn't he?
Spanner man, I'll let you read this one out, Dave, because I know you do a good Mackham accent.
Why are you from a Sunderland fan? You still have a chance of the playoffs, man.
Spanner man, thanks so much for watching. I'm so sorry about that.
They had a good result, didn't they, at the weekend?
Oh yeah,
once Alex Neil sort of finally started to turn that ship around after a poor month, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. And Dave Bergin did it on purpose.
Oh, with Dave.
The double €20 super sticker. Lovely stuff.
Thanks,
Charlie D. One thing I love about McKenna is how calm and clearly he comes across in interviews. No cliches, no passing the blame. He's great to listen to. Rich can't get enough of McKenna's interviews. I know a couple of people have said, I'm not from this parish, but a couple of people had said he's maybe a little bit dry. But do you two both enjoy listening to him talk football?
He talks sense, doesn't he? And exactly what Charlie says there. There's There's no BS. There's no cliches. He talks the talk, doesn't he? Yeah, love it.
And and sort of when you look at the previous managers, Mick sort of got very bored of him by the end of it. Paul Hurst wasn't here for long enough. Paul Lambert just said the same thing after every single game going.
Yeah.
Paul Cook just never really talked about football. He'd sort of, if you asked him about anything, or if the reporters asked him about anything like what's going on with transfers or this or injury, I don't want to talk about that. I mean, to talk about the game. Then you ask about the game, and he wouldn't talk about that either. So
he used to tell me.
Yeah, at the golf club, you might have got more out of him, but it's I just like. I actually when the sort of stories all drop on TWTD and EADT, I actually sit and read them all. Where I haven't done that for a long, maybe the first few weeks of a manager's reign, you might do it, but soon get bored of it. But not him so far.
No. Kurt Avon, I think we've answered this one. Sorry, I didn't pop this up when Joe and David talking about Backinson. Kerr thinks that he's got something about him and has got goal scoring potential. Do we need better next season? I mean, he'd be a good backup, probably, wouldn't he?
I think so.
With
I think
potential.
It'd be interesting to see how he delivers for the rest of the season. Like we said, I think he'll probably start alongside Morsey on Saturday, and he certainly levels seem to have picked up.
Lee Bayliss isn't having him though. Need better. Doesn't seem to want to push forward enough. Spannerman, this was before your impression, Dave. Says top club Ipswich with the applause emoji.
Like Backinson's got a hell of a lot of championship minutes under his belt.
He has.
Just having a look at his stats, and in 2021 he played over 2,000 minutes in the championship, and played another best part of 1,000 this season. He's got some pedigree, and
he certainly has.
I think I think he could do well for us here. I think he sort of had a tough start, and part of that was due to Sam Morsey's suspension, where he came in as almost someone to get settled in for a couple of weeks, and straight away he was on the pitch for us. So no, I think he's improving into it, and like I say, clipped a couple of lovely balls in for Bon and Norwood, who both should have done better with their chances, shouldn't he? And obviously had that shot that we spoke about there. It's just find his feet a little bit here, but no, I think he could be a good signing.
Gary Lovell, we knew it was coming. I'm surprised it took this long. Somebody's brought up Tyrese Simpson. With the standard of our strikers, let's give Tyrese a go. I'll be inspired by that question, but I'm not just going to say, shall we play Tyrese Simpson? What I will ask is, if there was no contract situation, do you think he would have had a chance by now?
I think it'd have figured
back.
I think it'd have figured perhaps in the squad. I really do. Perhaps would have got some minutes, but obviously until that contract's sorted, I just can't see it. Can you, Joe?
I don't know, but I guess he's probably relying on an injury or something like that, isn't he? Because when you look at the sort of squads that we've named against Cheltenham on Tuesday, James Norwood didn't even make the bench, and when you look at the subs on Saturday, you got Joe Piggott, Bursant Selina, Connor Chaplin, and James Norwood on the bench. And again, Joe Piggott doesn't even get on the pitch, and I just don't see that he'd be getting in the squad ahead of any of the four that we've got, unless I say because like Bon, Piggott, Jackson and Norwood are all ahead of him. Jackson, a few weeks ago, you'd have maybe said would be the one that he could maybe edge out, but it seems that he's really taken to McKenna, and he's really offering McKenna something. So I think he's very much a fifth choice, isn't he? And sometimes if you're a fifth choice and we're sometimes playing with one up front, you're not going to get a look in. But if he scored the under 23s last week, scored a couple this week.
21s.
It's all he can be doing, isn't it? So I'd be interested if he ends up in the National League on loan for a few months. But hopefully he signs a new contract and comes into pre-season, because he's definitely got something about him. You look at, like I say, not many teenagers go out and score 10 goals in half a season in League Two in a sort of tough competitive league that is. And he went in there and did really well for Swindon. He played nice football as well. They're not a battering ram side.
No,
he certainly got the physical attributes, hasn't he?
Definitely. Walton for player of the season, or Morsey says.
Oh, Christ, another two.
David Bergen, yeah. I mean, I think it would be tough to usurp Donacien, but you never know.
Look, it just shows the season. You're right, and you wouldn't discount those two to the four we mentioned already. So there's 6 candidates, incredible, really. And it's not because 6 candidates because we've had a crap season as such. It's six candidates because they all play to a really high, consistent level.
Avon, quite interesting that our style of play is responsible for our defensive record because our defenders are encouraged to take risks and do slip up now and again. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
We're playing quite a positive brand of football, and yeah, maybe we've ridden our luck once or twice, but it is enjoyable to watch. But it's not one where you're peeking from behind the sofa to watch it, is it?
The keeper makes such a difference, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's so confident, isn't he? And he gives out so much confidence.
Yeah,
he plays quite high. He's a real sweeper keeper, isn't he?
Yeah, that was a coup. That signing was a coup.
Dave, you gonna answer that?
No. Hang on a sec.
Is it mother-in-law?
Yeah, as usual. No, I don't think it was. No, actually, that's all right. Yeah.
Michael, when both Edmondson and Thompson seem to turn inside when they have the ball, maybe Penny would be a better bet for the overload when attacking.
It's interesting with Penny, but Thompson, he looks almost low on fitness, I'd say, rather than low on confidence. In that he's because he went off, didn't he, on Tuesday against Cheltenham? Vincent Young came on, and that was because he was just struggling with the sort of running power needed. And it sounded like, again, obviously I'm sort of only watching on the iFollow, so you don't quite see the whole pitch, but from people at the game, they said that Thompson looked absolutely
Dave's
shocked.
been missold PPI, I think.
Hello? Oh, nothing. I'll call you back. It's better, right? Yeah. Done.
It's great to know that people still use the landline.
That's because I know what it is. It's because my wife doesn't never answer her mobile phone. I know what that is because I think it's probably in here somewhere in a bag or something.
But it sounded like from about 65 minutes on Saturday, Thompson was just totally shot as well. So I wonder whether Penny gets a look in this week or Vincent Young gets a game, because it is sort of the Saturday, isn't it, this week?
Yeah.
It's got to be 9 points out of those three, isn't it, Dave? Just before we go.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, if we can get 9 points in the next 3 games, which obviously include a win over Portsmouth, we will be rolling.
And I've saved the most exciting news story until last, gents. Town have appointed a new chief financial officer. I think under strengths he's put accounts.
What's he put under weaknesses there?
Eczema.
It's all part of the modernising in the club, though, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah. I think it's illustrated just how far behind as a club we've got off-field structure-wise, and it may look a little bit too top-heavy at the moment, but ultimately you want to recruit and act as the club you want to become rather than the one you are, don't you? And if we want to be a top-end championship club, which is a very minimum I think these owners want, then you need to have a proper off-field operation. We can't. There's probably, I know just from looking at staff around the club, we've lost a huge amount of staff over the years in sort of retail, hospitality, just to Colchester. Like there's more sort of there. I know they've got the stadium which does a lot of events and things like that, but that's where people would go ahead of Ipswich, and people go because they're better jobs, better opportunities, and more money. And if you're losing out to a sort of League Two club which attracts 3,000-4,000 fans when you're getting 20, you're doing something wrong. So we need to be sort of trying to be on a level footing, and sort of hate to say it, but with Norwich, not Colchester. And so we're sort of looking to address that, and we're going that way. And there are a lot of bodies there now, but I'm sure they're all busy, and I'm sure they're all doing a lot. They're not just sitting here picking up a pay packet, are they?
No, very much. I think the outgoing financial guy, I think, had a fair bit of service. I think he'd been there like 15 years or something like that. Even before, I think he would have predated, I think, Evans, perhaps. I'm not sure, but good luck to the new guy.
Absolutely. Any last thoughts before we go? And thank you everyone for getting these comments in and for making the show what it is. Thanks again, David Bergin, for your kind €40 donations.
And David's asked for a mug. I don't know if Rich has one, but if he doesn't, I have one. I don't drink tea or coffee, so I'll send one over. If he doesn't, if he sends his address over to Blue Monday, Twitter, or Facebook. If you get your address to us, David, then we'll send you one, of course.
Certainly will.
€40 for a mug is pretty good, isn't it, Dave?
I think they're going for more than that. I think that, to be fair, I think as he's a friend, we'll let him have it for that. But I think they're going for a lot more than that.
Lovely. So, any last words then? How many points are we going to get in the next 3 matches, Joe?
I'm Go on, Joe.
7.
7.
Yeah, I'll
Dave?
stick on. Yeah, I think 7.
Okay, I'll go for 9. Right.
4, here
Up
we
the
come.
town.